We certainly can't be the only ones who find detective movies exciting. It gets all interesting when we even try to be detectives in real life when it comes to reading people. The truth is, people give off more information than they know about with their gestures and body language. Even you. And while this might be creepy as hell, well, it just might help you to understand people better. In today's video, we'll be dishing out some helpful tips that might just make you feel like a real-life detective. Even if it's just for a while. Stay tuned. If you've not already done so, please subscribe to the channel for more amazing content like this. Now let's head back to what we have for you today. Number 1. Be open-minded. This is the very first thing you need to do when you're looking to read people. You don't want to start judging them already, even without knowing them first. This will only let you misread people and beats the whole point of you getting to discover what they're about. You should practice having an open mind and never let your emotions or past experiences affect your opinions on them. When this happens, you tend to receive every information neutrally rather than have it filtered by your emotions. Number 2. Establish a baseline. After you must have prepared yourself by making sure you're open-minded, the next thing you'd do is to establish a baseline. A baseline, like any context used, involves checking out normal to help you cancel out abnormal. Everyone has natural ways they react to something, either by using gestures or a particular body language. These things are how you'd identify them on a normal day. However, some of these things change, and when they do, it most definitely is a sign of something. Some of these reactions are usually displayed for a number of reasons. It could be when they're sad or stressed out, or angry or frustrated, or maybe they're just nervous. To properly gauge this, you can try to put a focus on people when they're having a normal conversation with another person. This helps you in your bid to be able to read them. Number 3. Distinguish between positive and negative body language. People have different reactions to when they're happy and when they're sad. It's the way to know whether or not they're comfortable in a conversation or with what they're doing. When you're in a conversation with someone and they tend to lean closer or smile a lot, it means they're quite comfortable, and that counts as a positive body language, because they don't mind you going on with what you're talking about because they're interested. However, when you notice that they suddenly seem to back off, or they're frowning a lot, or it just feels like they don't want to be there, that which you have right there is negative body language. Number 4. Pay attention to voice pitch. If you've noticed, sometimes people might have the sweetest of voices, and other times, they just sound very different. Well, the pitch of someone's voice can be an indicator of mood. What you tag as their normal voice pitch might just change when they're stressed out, angry, sad, or nervous. Also, when they're in a cheerful mood, their voice would also show that, and this could help you read when something is going right or wrong. Number 5. Pay attention to their breathing. Just like you'd pay attention to the pitch of their voice, you should also look to focus on their breathing. Weird as it may sound, how a person breathes, either lightly or heavily, would go on to show or depict certain moods. It's been reported that when you're in a fight or flight situation, your brain releases hormones and neurotransmitters, which in turn increases your blood pressure and your heart rate, causing your breathing to become shallow and fast. When you notice that someone is breathing heavily during a conversation, that's probably because they're nervous about the topic or they're lying. Number 6. Pay attention to their movements. When people are nervous or in an uncomfortable situation, they tend to give off certain body movements that seem to just suggest something is up. It could be the constant tapping of feet, pacing around the room, wringing of the hands, scratching their heads, or even chewing on their lips. These signs all but suggest nervousness, and interestingly, the intensity of these gestures goes a long way to help you identify how deep the problem is. Number 7. Consider the context. Even though you feel you can already make conclusions about people based on their gestures or how they react, you shouldn't just conclude without considering the context with which these things happen. For example, someone might be breathing heavily because they just finished an intense workout or probably took a long walk, while another person might breathe heavily just because they're nervous in a conversation. The same can be said about someone who folds their arms because they're feeling cold, while another person might fold their arms because they're just eager to get out of the conversation. While watching detective movies might make the topic of reading people look a little bit complicated, it really is not difficult, and sometimes you can even read people subconsciously. Are you that kind of person? Or you find it hard to read meanings to gestures? Let us know in the comments section. If you also enjoyed the video, hit the like button, share it with your friends, and of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If people interaction is kind of your thing, then you should also watch 8 Reasons Why Very Intelligent People Prefer to Be Alone.